Hey Vegas, it's Vegas Pulse. Stories from the back of the house. And my guest this evening is the one and only, the Poo Poo Man, Mr. Gene Anderson. Hello, Gene.
Hey, Ron, what's going on? I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad to be anywhere.
That's a good story. Me too. I feel the same way. But everybody has the same question. Let me get right to the point. How did you become the Poo Poo Man? Where did that name come from?
Well, if it was a beautiful woman, I said it's an experience, not an explanation. But however, being you, it started years ago. I cut a record called Give Up the Poo Poo. And I did a TV show. And I was going through a supermarket after doing the TV show. A disc jockey friend of mine by the name of Dr. Jockenstein. And the little girl said, "Hey, Mom, there's that Poo Poo Man." It was right there. We both bust out laughing. And ever since then, I've been the Poo Poo Man.
And that doesn't bother you, apparently. That's okay.
Well, they say it's subject.
Don't say it, yeah.
But,
I get it. I get it. Well, you started very young, Gene. Gene
Yes,
Anderson,
yes.
the Poo Poo Man from St. Louis. You started that many times. I got one story says you were 3 years old when you did a show called House Party.
Yeah.
Is that right? You were three and you're singing
Yeah.
already?
Yeah, no, what it was, back in the day, it was Jim Crow, so there wasn't that many things that blacks could do back in St. Louis. So my parents had something they call house parties. They had house parties.
At their home.
At our home, yeah, there was house
And
parties.
you would entertain there.
And I would entertain and dance for tips. And I get 15 cent, 50 cent, a dollar. And before you know it, I was a regular on the weekends when they had the house party. So that's why I started at 3 years old.
And then at 8 years old, you were on TV and you did White Christmas. Is that the song you sang?
Yeah. Well, it was a guy by the name of Mr. Jim. They used to fix carnivals, rides for carnivals. And they used to pick up all the kids in the neighborhood and take us downtown to the department stores to do Christmas shows.
Uh-huh.
And I was down there and they asked me, a lady by the name of Charlotte Peters had a TV show called Charlotte Peters Show. They asked, does anyone know how to sing Christmas songs? I said, certainly. I throw my hand up and said, what can you sing? I said, I can sing White Christmas.
That's a good one.
And I sung White Christmas. I did it so well, she went and got some more people from the back. She said, listen, this kid can really sing. And I sung White Christmas again. And next thing I know, they called me up about a week later and say, we want you to come down to the TV station and sing White Christmas
on television.
Again. And so I did it.
At 8 years old. And then at 12 years old, you had hit records. You were working with Gigolo Man and the loneliest, the longest one.
Yeah, well, at 12 years old, I was with Ike Turner.
Oh, okay. So of the famous Ike and Tina Turner.
Ike and Tina, right. That's before there was Ike and Tina Turner. It was Ike Turner and Billy Gales.
Were they fighting with each other then?
No, well, she was his girlfriend at that time, and he had a little small record company he used to call Ed Alcorn. Had a record company, and he was cutting records. He cut a record called Box Top.
Didn't you have a record company, Poo Poo Records?
I had several record companies. Yeah, I did the whole 9 yards.
Oh, that's amazing.
He did he did the song called "You're Just a Fool, You Know You're in Love, What You Say," and I sung on the background of me and the girls. I had a girl group called Pete and the Rhythmettes. And so they fired me after we cut the record. The record became a big smash hit. They fired me and hired the girls and named them the Rhythmettes. They named them the Ikeettes.
The Ikeettes, I remember that.
Yeah, that was the first Ikeettes.
We're going to come back to more of this after we take this break, and we're going to talk about your time in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And when you were with with Red Fox. Okay?
Red Fox.
We'll be right back right after this. We're back with Gene Poo Poo Anderson, the Poo Poo Man. That's his nickname. That's who he is. And he's made a living being the Poo Poo Man, right, Gene?
Yes, I have. I did quite a few things. There's first name Pooh, second name Pooh, last name Man.
Well, here's one we want to show my camera right here. You appeared with Red Fox back in the day at the Hacienda Hotel.
Yeah.
You got a Red Fox story for us that you
Red
wouldn't
Fox.
normally tell. And remember to keep it clean.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to keep it clean. You talk
With
about
Red
Red.
Fox, yeah. Give us something. What was going on back at the Hacienda in the 70s?
Red, I was introduced to Red by Sonny Liston, the prize fighter. He brought me to Las Vegas from St. Louis, Missouri, in order to meet Sammy Davis Jr. because I had so much talent. I was so young and I had so much talent that he wanted me to meet Sammy Davis Jr. And Sammy wasn't available, so Red was available. Red was playing at the Hacienda. Him and Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders. Yeah. And so Red taught me about an act. I was singing and I was killing them every night. And Red say, Gene, you say the problem with you don't have no act. I said, Red, what you mean I ain't got no act? I'm crying like a little sissy. He said, listen, he say, you don't have no act. He say, I want your foot in the same spot every night. I want your eyes in the same spot every night. I want your hands in the same spot every night. And I want you to make the same facial expression every night in the same spot. Then you got to act. So I started doing as he said. Before you know it, I was on the front page of every newspaper in Las Vegas, the Vegas Visitor. It was
what had a picture of you in a hot tub or something, or no?
No. I was doing the Cab Calloway thing. It's on YouTube now. The Red Fox show with Gene Poo Poo Man Anderson at the Hacienda.
Did he have crazy parties going on at his house, which wasn't too far?
Yeah. Well, Red used to have a party in his house and be the only somebody that didn't show up.
And he wish nobody showed up?
No, Red, everybody would show up. You had a lot of people, but Red wouldn't show up.
Oh, he wouldn't show up.
Red had a one-way mirror in his house.
No, yeah?
You remember that, don't you? You heard about that?
So what did he say? He'd say, okay, everybody, come to my house after the show. Everybody would go to his house, and then he wouldn't show up.
He wouldn't show up.
But then the one-way mirror.
He had the one-way mirror. Well, he'd call me and he'd say, Poo Poo. He said, come here. He'd say, who's having the most fun out there? I say, Prince Spencer, the tap dancer, the fourth stepbrother. Prince is having more fun than everybody. He say, what? He said, what the girls look like? I say, all the girls look fabulous. He say, he had Lynn Roman was his girl.
All right.
Lynn Roman was one of the Roman sisters.
Did he have a pool in the backyard? You hear where he was?
Yeah, he had a pool.
Out of the pool.
Yeah. He had a pool in the backyard.
And was everybody wearing clothes?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, Red would he would make Prince teach me how to strut. You know,
How to strut.
How to strut.
We bad.
Yeah. I do that, strut around the pool. Prince Spencer, the tap dancer stepbrother. He was the one stepbrother then. But it was the fourth tap dancer stepbrother. They used to be with the Nicholas brothers and stuff.
You know, that house is still there. I think it's at Russell and
Windmill.
Windmill and Russell.
No. It's on Easton.
Easton and Russell.
Easton and Rawhide.
And Rawhide, that's it.
Right, Easton and Rawhide.
And that house is still there, but it's a business.
It's
now.
an insurance house. It's an insurance business now.
They
still got the little fox on the corner of it though.
Now the mob ran the Hacienda when you were working there with Red Fox.
Well, they say.
So
I won't go as far as to say who was who and all that because I was a little too young to be able to name some people. But the mob ran the Hacienda, they ran the Sahara, they ran the their
Stardust, the
Stardust,
Marina,
the
the
Moon,
Frontier,
yeah, yeah, the
all those.
Desert Inn,
Were those guys hanging around the showroom at the hacienda?
yeah, all the time. Matter of fact, the Hacienda was the main place. Your boy John Bonnie, you fired John Bonnie.
John Bonnie wasn't there when I got to the Sahara. His real
Yeah,
name was John Bonavenucci or something like that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
John Bonnie was a little close to the people that you shouldn't be a little close to.
yeah. Him and Yale Cohen
Yeah,
and Dave Bickerson.
John Bonnie was the casino manager at the
Exactly.
Sahara. But I didn't fire him. I had nothing to do with it. I was gone when I got there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was
He
let go.
loved me.
He did. Why is that?
Yeah, he loved me because I had so much charisma. I wasn't afraid of nothing. And see, Sonny Liston brought me out there, and Sonny Liston was what's that guy's name? Uh, 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 Sonny Liston was with.
Was he the champ when you were hanging out with
No,
him?
no, he was. He had lost to Muhammad Ali, but he was. He might as well been champ because everybody still accept him as the champ.
So you were hanging out with Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston, the one that brought me out here. He the one that brought me the game.
Hang on to that. We're going to take another break. We're going to come back and talk more about Sonny Liston and the mob.
Oh my God!
Back in Vegas in the 70s and 80s, you're watching Vegas Pulse, stories from the back of the house. We'll be right back. More with the Poo Poo Man,
Guilty.
Gene Anderson. You've been running around with that name all these years.
All
But it's
these
made
years.
you a lot of money, Gene.
Listen, the Red Fox hated the name, but I made so much noise. Frank Sinatra came to see us once and say, Red, we come to see you got a Poo Poo Man. We want to
There you
know
go.
what's that Poo Poo Man. He said, there he is sitting right there.
Let's get back to Sonny Liston. So Sonny had lost to Muhammad Ali,
Yes,
and you guys he brought you to town
yes, to
And-
meet
and
Sammy
he-
Davis Jr.
to meet Sammy. Ended up with Red Fox.
I ended up with Red Fox.
How did Sonny feel? Did he ever say anything to you about how he felt about losing to Muhammad Ali?
He to be truthful, he loved Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali loved him. Matter of fact, I got a photo in my book with Muhammad Ali and me. And Sonny was, he always knew that he could never whoop Muhammad Ali.
He knew that before the
He
fight.
knew it before the fight.
Here's your
Matter
book.
of fact,
It's on camera right now.
okay.
It's a great book. You got to read it. The Birth of Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Rapper's Delight by Gene the Poo Poo Man Anderson.
Yeah, I brought hip hop to the forefront of the game.
So him and Muhammad Ali really were close,
That was really close.
but they didn't come off that way in public.
Well, it was a promotion. He shot at Muhammad Ali with a blank gun. And
Now,
so,
they say Sonny threw that fight. What do you know about that?
well, I can't say that. All I know is, Sonny, we was riding from Hollywood once, and I asked him, and he said, I lost one and I threw one.
But he didn't clarify which one he lost
He
and which one he threw.
he never did clarify that.
Well, that was that phantom punch that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, one thing about Sonny followed the money.
It was all about the money. Isn't
It was
that
all
the way
about
with
the
all
money. It was all about the money.
all the boxers are that way? It's not the same anymore, though.
Well, see, he was Ash Resnick was his guy.
Right.
Was Sonny Liston's guy. He brought Sonny to town. Ash Resnick.
Ash
Brought him
Resnick
from-
also produced a lot of fights at Caesar's Palace
Yeah,
and at the MGM Garden.
yeah. Ash Resnick was Sonny's guy.
Ash Resnick was behind all that.
Yeah, well, Ash Resnick was a big boy
That's right.
in this game. I used to go to the store for Mr. Resnick.
So what happened after Sonny introduced you to Red Fox?
Red, well,
He started your career.
yeah, they started my career. Matter of fact,
We're just taking you around the world.
matter of fact, Red took me around the world. Matter of fact, here's a photo right now.
Show it over to this.
A photo right now of me, Red Fox, and Slapping White. Slapping White got Red started in show business, and so Red, Red, Red would always. Mother Carson was Red's mother, and she would always say, "Red, if it wasn't for Slapping, you wouldn't have been nobody." And that used to break his heart for her to say that.
Well, we love Slappy White.
Yeah, Slapping White.
You're a man of many different music genres, they say, and you created this word blues rapper funkasola.
Yeah, blues, rap, funk, and soul. That's
Blues,
what
rap, funk, and soul. Those are all the musics that you put together.
Yeah, as one.
To create as one.
As one, yeah. Blues, rap, funk, and soul.
Where'd that come from?
It's blues, rap, funk, and soul.
Now you're called the grandfather of funk, rap, hip hop, and R&B.
Yeah, well,
not the godfather, the grandfather.
Yeah, well, see, I started the Sugar Hill Gang. The record's called The Rapper's Delight. I promoted that record. I left Memphis, Tennessee. I was with Willie Mitchell, who had Al Green. And I left Memphis, Tennessee, and I went back home to St. Louis to start a record distributing company called Middle West Record Distributors. Me and some old Jewish guys. I used to be their gopher boy.
The Jewish mafia.
Yeah, the Jewish mafia. Yeah, they loved me. All the mob guys loved me because I knew how to keep my mouth closed.
You must have been true to your word, because here you are in your 80s.
Yeah.
And you're still talking to me.
You know, I'm still talking to you. Hey, how you like me now?
That's right. You're looking sharp. I love the clothes.
Thank you.
And you walk around all day like that, or you sleep like that as well?
I don't sleep like this, but I walk around all day like this. I look very beautiful. Matter of fact,
you love yourself.
I love me.
You're a Grammy nominee. Tell me about that a little bit. It was with Albert King.
Yeah, I wrote a song called "I Found Love in the Food Stamp Line" for Albert Blues Boy King.
I love the title of that song. I found love
in the food stamp line.
Is that from personal?
Well, to be truthful, experience? I was in the food stamp line, and I saw a young lady that I liked, and I wrote the song about her. And the song, Albert King heard the song, and he said, "Let me cut this record." I let him cut the record. He went to California and cut it with a label. I can't think of the name of the label now. But anyway, he got a Grammy nomination. He lost to B.B. King. The Thrill Is Gone. And he lost to that particular record.
But at least you got the nomination.
Yeah, I got the nomination.
Let me ask you this. Back in the day when you were with Red Fox, what kind of discrimination were you facing? Were you able to stay in the hotels like everyone else?
Well, to be truthful, Sonny Liston didn't allow that. Sonny Liston was a gangster, for real. And he would fight for whatever he wanted. Sonny would tear up a casino. I remember once we was in Reno, and we was at the Harold's Club, and we was playing poker. And Sonny was playing poker with a guy, one great big old guy with Texas hat on, walked up to Sonny and said, "Hey, don't I know you, boy?" Sonny said, "Yeah, you know me. I'm Jim Brown." And he said, "Yeah." And so they was playing poker, and all of a sudden Sonny disbanded, and he won, and he jumped up and he started laughing like that. He jumped up and started laughing, and he got ready to sit down. An old white lady, was sitting in the seat, just zip, just like that. And he sat on her by accident and said, "Oh, excuse me, lady." And she said, she went off on him. And he said, "Wait a minute. You ain't got no business talking to me like that." She said, you son of a blah, 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 blah. And so I say, Sonny's got ready to walk away. I said, Sonny, you gonna let them talk to us like that? Talk to us like that? Sonny said, no. And he stood there and he slapped the old lady upside the head, lightly, upside the head. And when he slapped upside the head, the dealer said, you get up from my table. I don't want you sitting at my table no more. Sonny said, what? And Sonny took the table and turned the table over at Harris Club in Reno.
I'm familiar with it. I lived in Reno for a while.
Yeah. And turned the table over. And then we went upstairs. The police came. They sent the police upstairs to throw us out the hotel. Sonny say, open the window. I'm going to start throwing them out the window as fast as they come. Sonny grabbed one of the police and finna throw him out the window. I begged him, Sonny, please don't throw him out the window. Don't throw him out the window. Sonny Liston was a mess.
He was a gangster, you said.
He was a gangster.
Then we're pretty sure he threw that fight.
Yeah, well, I ain't too sure about nothing about Sonny.
Take a break, and we're going to come back and have some final words. I want to talk about your book. We also want to show that picture you brought and your CD.
Okay.
And let's not forget the champagne.
The shampoo poo.
The shampoo poo. We'll be right back on Vegas Pulse. Hey Vegas, we're back for the final segment of the Vegas Pulse, stories from the back of the house. I'm here with Gene Poo Poo Anderson. You certainly earned everything you've got, Gene. I love your stories. You're an amazing gentleman. But I also see that you're into your own label on a bottle of champagne. What's all that all about?
Yes, well, this is called Gene Anderson Sparkling Wine of the Stars. But the street name of it is called the Shampoo Poo. The Gene Anderson Shampoo Poo Man got champagne, and to put it together, it's called Shampoo Poo. So that's what it is. You can find it at all the Lee's liquor stores here in Las Vegas. They gave me my first and only shot.
At Lee's?
At Lee's.
That big store, Big Lee's.
Yeah. All the Lee's liquor stores had.
They got a great selection of champagnes, including
the Shampoo Poo.
The Shampoo
All you got to do is ask for the Shampoo Poo, and they'll give you a bottle of this magnificent champagne.
Show us that picture there.
This picture
tell
here.
Tell us what it said to this camera, yeah.
This picture here is a picture of Red Fox Lower My Motion Pictures. They had me and Michael Green, and Red Fox had a TV show called Al's Candy Store.
I remember it.
Yeah, and he had me on there, and then I was the first star he ever had on the show.
And how do we get a copy of your book? I mean, your CD. That's
my CD. You can find it on Amazon, and Spotify. And my book, you can find it under The Gene Anderson Story, thegeneandersonstory.com. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and matter of fact, Spike Lee is considering shooting the motion picture of the book, The Birth of Hip Hop.
Well, you're the grandfather of all that. Hip hop, Funkadelic, that was one of the groups you're in, the Parliament.
Yeah, Parliament, Funkadelic,
the P-Funk All-Stars.
Yeah.
You got a nice track record. Thank you so much for being here, Gene. I appreciate it. We
it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
Shout outs to Frankie Munoz and to Penny.
Frankie Munoz is my man.
You bet.
If it wasn't for Frankie Munoz, none of this would be happening. Believe this here. Frankie Munoz. Matter of fact, he's having a big show coming up, and I'm going to headline his show. I'm singing Frank Sinatra on a clear day.
And with that, we'll take it out with Frank Sinatra, done by Gene Anderson.
Come look around.
Right here on Vegas Pulse. Stories from the back of the house. See you next time.
From the back of the house.